Good morning here from London in the UK, and welcome to another edition of Digital Skills with MintTwist and myself, Elliot King, on MintTwist TV, streaming to you live on YouTube, Live Edu and Periscope. Okay, so this morning we're going to be talking about websites and how they can work within your digital marketing strategy to help you to get more sales and more success for your organizations. So websites obviously sit at the very heart of most digital marketing campaigns, and for that reason alone are incredibly important. So what are we going to be talking about today? We'll start off and talk a little bit from for those of you out there who are managing websites or managing marketing campaigns. You may or may not be interested in learning about the process that digital agencies would follow, and freelancers and professionals who are building websites. And with more of an insight into this type of process, it's very likely that you'll be able to manage more effectively your website project, your website development project, redesign projects, whatever it may be. We'll talk about sitemaps and wireframes and how they can work. We'll have a look at some designs and how they can impact different types of objectives that you'll have behind your website. And then we'll look at what is the value of a website from a business perspective. What is the intrinsic value? What does it bring you apart from the obvious? Okay, so typical website project process would look something like this. There really should be at least 5 distinct phases to a website relaunch. So and they do need to be distinct because really the key to running a successful project, one that runs on time, on budget, and ultimately delivers you the right website, is to move from one phase to another only when you've got all of the right pieces in place. The mistakes that a lot of companies and organizations make out there, large and small, is to jump ahead of themselves and start, for example, looking at designs from day one as opposed to running through the steps properly. Okay, so phase one is we refer to, and most agencies refer to, as planning and design, and this is really getting the structure of the website. So a website architecture, page designs. What are we trying to achieve here? Well, certainly from the perspective of most websites out there, which are marketing websites, either direct selling, if it's an e-commerce website, or if it's a B2B services website, or product-based website that is looking to generate awareness, it's still about getting a message to a group of customers and motivating them to take a particular action. So what are your customer groups? What are the products and services and the associated messages that you want to convey to these customer groups? And then as a result of them receiving that message, how do you want them to engage? What's the next step? Is it to fill out an inquiry form? Is it to sign up for an event? Is it to contact your sales team, to learn more? So from a marketing website perspective, it's fundamental that you have a really clear understanding, and more importantly, your web designers have a really clear understanding about what it is you're trying to achieve from the perspective of your customers, your messages, and then your calls to action. And so when we design a sitemap and a page structure, what we're really trying to do is reflect the customer journey, the research and information gathering journey that our customers are going to take throughout the buying cycle that they'll move through when they're looking to potentially engage us for our product or service. And so we want to design a website structure that reflects the customer journey. We want to design specific pages that are going to get the right message to the right customers and ask them to do the right things as a next step. And once we've done those things, then we can start to put the face on the designs, make them pretty, engaging, and the stuff that most of us would think about as classic web design. That starts after we've got the planning right. And then once you've got at least the key pages, the structures defined, the key pages are designed, then we can move into the build process. And typically these would be web developers that have different skills to designers. These would be people who are skilled in HTML, CSS, front-end website coding, but also the back-end technologies that probably require the various CMS, content management system frameworks that are out there, database technology, programming languages such as PHP and Java and .NET and so on. And so the build phase is really a process of developers bringing front-end designs to life and connecting them with back-end systems. And very often agencies will run an agile process. So we as marketing managers and as brand owners will be getting access to some of these website pages when they're partially built, so that we can begin testing. And then once we have a test system that's been developed and available to us, then we would really want to start entering in the content. So the key marketing pages typically would be owned by the website owner as opposed to the design agency. And we as marketeers and as owners of the brand would probably be best placed to manage the process of completing the marketing content. Once the content is largely complete, you can then have a go-live process, and most agencies would phase a go-live so that website content, the website doesn't have to be 100% complete for it to go live necessarily. For example, if a blog area, if there's a lot of articles that you plan to get in there, you can go live with a subset of those total that you want to end up with, and then look to push them live as the system goes live, because obviously with any new system there's always going to be glitches and hitches, and really going live in a phased sort of way is the recommendation these days, as opposed to having a huge launch and inviting everyone to come and visit your website on day one, and it's not 100% perfect. So a phased go live is definitely the way to do it. Really crucial to remember is that it's always going to be a post go live process. How are you going to maintain that website? What's the, obviously where are you going to host it, but how are you going to keep the content fresh and updated? And most marketing departments will be well versed in that process these days. Okay, so just a bit of detail. What is a sitemap? There's many ways to draw these things up, but essentially it's just the groups of pages that you'll have, the function and the purpose behind those groups of pages is what we're looking for. The key here really is if there's specific customers and messages that we want to get over to those customers, we're going to collect those pages together. If we're running an SEO strategy like most businesses will be, which pages are going to be set up to work for which sort of search phrases. And it's important that we contain our pages so that they cover the subjects that we really want them to cover, and that we don't spread ourselves too thin. So each page really on our website needs to have a purpose, and the sitemap should help you to ensure that that's the case. So once you have your sitemaps, designers will very often talk about wireframes. So these are functional layouts for the way a page should be organized. And again, the purpose here is certainly for the key pages, we want to make sure that the key message is as clear as it possibly can be for each of the key pages. So what is the purpose of a page? What's the main message that it's trying to deliver? What's the call to action it wants to motivate from the user? If we create a wireframe, it helps us to ensure that our designer understands what those things are. Something to note here is very often users websites, ourselves as consumers, most of us will tend to scan a website page and go straight into reading it. We'll initially scan it, very often in a Z formation. So we'll scan a page in that sort of manner, and we're looking for key bits of information. If we see what we're looking for, we're going to take a bit more time to read the page in a bit more depth. So designers will should be able to understand how users will scan a page and make sure those key bits of information are in the right place. Okay, let's let's have a look now at some different types of websites out there and talk about what they're trying to say. So, this first website is obviously a luxury fashion brand, and what they're really trying to convey here is a message of luxury, of elegance, of high value, and hence there's a heavy use of black. In many, especially in the fashion industry, in the high value luxury fashion industry, you'll see many of the brands will make heavy use of black, and this is for that reason. This is an interesting one. So this is AA. It's a breakdown service in the UK. The brand colours behind AA, heavily to do with yellow, and yellow definitely conveys a sense of emergency and warning. Many countries all around the world, many markets all around the world, you'll find yellow is used as in warning signs, in traffic warning signs, and so on and so forth. And so there's a sense here of we need to take caution, we need to be careful. Next time I'm going on a long drive, what if I have a breakdown? Maybe I should inquire about this breakdown insurance service that is the AA. And as you can see, they've got two main products that they're offering to their customers. One is on the road, so automobile breakdown insurance. So on the road, and they've got 3 clear calls to action there about the different types of insurance. And then they've got the home insurance products as well. So nice, clear to calls to actions. It's a well-structured page. So next we come to EasyJet. This is a low-cost airline that works, out of the UK and most of the European markets. And their offer to consumers is all about providing low-cost flights between European capitals. And so it's business people who are using the airline to go to meetings, and then it's weekend tourism. So groups of friends, stag parties, hen do's, these types of things, getting together and going to a European destination for a long weekend. And and it's very, very clear. The action call here is check out the flights. You can have a very, very quick search about where you want to go to and get a very, very quick quote. And the use of orange behind this brand is very interesting, because orange is used extensively to convey a sense of immediacy, of action, and that's exactly what EasyJet are trying to do. Get a quote. If you like it, why not just go for it? Spur of the moment holiday. Don't we all like it? Okay, and finally, green. I think it's pretty clear. Green. If any brand or any website or any imagery or any content that's using green is very often trying to convey a sense of environmental friendliness. And this website is BP's website. They've for a long time now they've been hoping to convey a sense of environmental friendliness. Some would argue how well they've achieved that, but to be fair to BP, they've created a website that reflects those values. But they have made some additional investments in order to support that at least subjective objective of the brand. And this website is dedicated to pushing those credentials, not just via colour, but via the content that they're sharing. Okay, but what is, we've spoken about design, we've spoken about how you can do it, but what is actually the value of a good website? What does it mean to us as marketeers and as entrepreneurs and as professionals inside business organizations that require to make money? How does it actually make us money? Well, the best way to answer that question is with an old example, which I'll come to in a moment. But it's actually this concept of conversion rate percentage. So if we've got our marketing funnel, as all businesses will do, at the top of the funnel, there's lots of different models we can use. One of them is AIDA. First we need to generate awareness in our market. Then we need to generate an interest from potential customers. Then we need to generate desire as they compare us to our competitors, desire for our products or service, and then we want to motivate action, either for them to, to come and have a consultancy session, or if it's an e-commerce website, to actually buy the product. And so the value of a website essentially is this ability to assist in this marketing funnel process, and ultimately to improve the conversion percentage. So most businesses out there, whether it's a B2B service business that's using the website to generate awareness and leads, or whether it's an e-commerce business that's generating actual value, will understand that if they've got 1,000 customers, for every 1,000 visitors to their websites on a weekly basis, they might have, for example, 10 leads come out of that, or 10 purchases if it's an e-commerce website. And if you had the 1,010 relationship, that's a conversion rate of 1%. So if a business like that were to invest in redesigning or redeveloping their website, they would be looking to improve that conversion rate. So if they could step it from 1 to 1.5%, it's obviously a 50% improvement in conversion rate, which, depending on how much business is being generated via the leads or direct sales, could potentially be a massive increase in bottom line sales and profit to that business. So important stuff. And really the way to do that is first of all, design a website that's going to get the right message to the right people, to generate the right action, to get them to respond. But the way to do that ongoing is a process called conversion rate optimization, CRO as it's sometimes called. And CRO, it's been around for a long time, but for me, the sort of the poster child of the advent of CRO was the Obama campaign in 2008, when he was first running for president. And they ran a series of email marketing campaigns looking to motivate donations. And the most effective campaigns were 40% more effective than the least effective. And this equated to ultimately millions of dollars of increased funds. And really all the team were changing when they were looking to optimize their email campaigns were the image you see of Obama and his family there. The words below changed itself, stayed the same as probably most of us remember, and potentially the color of the Learn More button. So very small incremental changes has potentially a very large effect on conversion rate, particularly if we're talking about a high volume play like this campaign certainly was. And so with that, I'll leave you. I hope it was very useful. As always, if you want to find out more, then contact MintTwist. All of the contact details there. Myself, Elliot King. I'm on Twitter at Elliot_King. And until next time, have a nice day.